And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, February 18th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome. Friday morning, quite a bit different from yesterday. We've seen a lot of change in the weather, but it's going to be a fantastic Friday. We welcome you to our program, and we're happy to be on the air for Wilson Bank and Trust. And this morning, Greg Sullins is here to do the commercial and talk to us about the bank. Executive Vice President, good morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Coleman. Glad to be here with you and all the listeners.
Well, this is your first time, I think, to come out and be a part of this commercial time. So, introduced you as Executive Vice President, which you are, but tell us a little bit about yourself, since this is your first time here.
Sure, absolutely. In the role that I have is kind of strategy. At the end of the day, I work with all of our business leaders to help us coordinate, collaborate, communicate better, improve processes. We're making lots of improvements on digital banking and digital capabilities for our customers and our outreach and how we expand and continue to grow in the marketplace.
How long you been with the bank?
I joined the bank, been as an employee 3 years. Prior to that, was consulting for the bank for about a year. And I grew up in Lebanon, Tennessee, traveled the country with many banks coordinating, doing national things across the United States, and was fortunate a few years ago to come back with John McDermott, Randall, all the team, and join Wilson Bank and Trust.
Well, we were talking before we were going on air here about celebrate 35 years, be
Right.
35 years in May, which was in May of 1987 when the bank started. So I think you got a little celebration planned, maybe.
Well, we'll have this is 35 years. That's a big deal. Wilson Bank and Trust. Well, obviously we're blessed to be here in this wonderful community in Middle Tennessee and the continued growth that we talk about. This weekend we are going to, with that growth and Coleman, we just crossed $4 billion in assets as a community bank here. So
That's
proud
$4
of that.
billion B.
Four with a B. That's
With a
a
B.
B. That's right. Billion. And something we're obviously proud of as a milestone, but it's really all about just one customer at a time and through that growth. And we'll need to remind the reviewers this weekend through that growth, we need to upgrade technology and capabilities. So tomorrow, Saturday, the February 19th, our offices are going to be closed, and so we can do some technology upgrades and continue to protect and position everything for future growth.
Mm-hmm. And of course, Monday is a holiday for a lot of people.
That's right.
President's Day, so all banks, as I understand, will be closed that day. So you got a 3-day weekend here to get some things done.
Absolutely. Try to stage things around a opportunity like that, and again, make sure we've got everything taken care of for continued upgrades. And
Well, this
move
is
forward.
one of the areas that is in your expertise, in your wheelhouse, is it not?
Yes. A lot of what we're doing technology-wise, how we move forward with our account maintenance, a new account opening. I've spent a great deal of time with new account opening. So another thing we're just proud of, if you go to wilsonbank.com, our customers now, both business and personal customers, can open our full menu of consumer checking, business deposit accounts. And so that not many of even larger banks our size can do those things. Mm-hmm. So digitally, online, from the convenience of your home, you can open accounts, interact with us, use our mobile app, use our online banking, and obviously we just opened our 29th office here over in Gallatin at Greenlee. So obviously, again, we're fortunate to be a part of Middle Tennessee and be here to serve our customers.
Well, even online banking was hardly heard of 35 years ago. So you started at some time in the last 35 years, but I find it very convenient to every day I can check my account, see what has come through, keep up with it, and not have to make a call or go to the bank to find out.
Absolutely. It's just a way of the times. Customers
But
expect.
you're a much more advanced than that. I'm a simple guy, but I am able to do that.
Well, you're an important customer, just like many of the listeners here. The ability to kind of do banking the way you want to do it. That's really where we have to find ourselves. And some want to come into our branches. Some want to go online banking, use their mobile telephone app. It seems you can do about everything with it if you want to. So that's where we want to be positioned to continue to grow and serve our customers.
All right. Well, it's really good to have you here today, and we wish you continued success as you take care of things electronically and that sort of thing. And I'm sure that they'll send you back one of these days, and we'll do it again.
All right, Coleman. Thank you.
All right. That is Greg Sullins, Executive Vice President, and of course it's Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. They're still here, still independent, still committed to you. Middle Tennessee's community bank since 1987. All right, with that, it is time for us to do our Friday Senate report, and he's here, Senator Mark Pody.
Good morning, Coleman. What a great day.
Oh, it is good to see you this morning. I mentioned the weather, and I do a lot of times as we come on the air, but what a difference the day made.
It absolutely was. Now we had a big storm yesterday. Those winds, the rain came through and such, but and this morning was very cool when I got up and going.
Yeah, I didn't check my car temperature thermometer, but it's cold this morning.
And I didn't turn on my heater for the chickens either, so when I got up this morning, their ice was cold. Their ice was frozen.
Yeah.
It was frozen.
Well, I was just somewhat relieved, but just pleased and happy that it just a storm, just a front comes through, a lot of rain. Sometimes the wind was blowing hard enough that the rain was almost horizontal, but I don't know of any severe flooding, and the ditch got full at my house, and then it went down, and it turned cold, and here we are.
There you go.
Well, how's your week been?
It's been a great week. Now, Coleman, I got to tell you that of all the times I've been down here, this may be the fastest session that we're going through. It is not, when we first go in, it's a 2-year session, and typically you go in January the first year, and then you reorganize, you take a couple weeks off, come back in early February, and then just kind of get ramped up and going. This year, we are just in the middle of February, and they've already announced committees closing. So next week, I will be in my final calendar in Agriculture and Energy committees. I mean, it's already closing. Now, I got 35 bills to hear next week in that committee, and they've already said the following week they expect transportation to be closing. So of my committees, we're going to be closing. We might have a couple of them closed in February, where I've never had that. Normally, they start closing in March. So, I mean, it is moving very, very, very quickly.
Well, I take it part of that has got to be that it's an election year. People like to get the session over and get out and campaign, especially if they're running for re-election. That's part of it, but I don't guess it's all of it.
No, and it seems this year there's not a lot of real controversial issues. One of them that is coming up is going to be announced next week, and it is going to be the funding of the BEP. That's, of course, the basic education funding plan, and nobody has actually gotten to see it except for the governor's staff and such, and they've had all these hearings throughout the last few months and such. They went around the state to hear, but we don't know what the results of those are, and I don't like the fact that we're going to be voting on that very quickly, but by the time they announce it next year or next week, and I won't have as much time as I would like to have to go around to all the school board members, go to the superintendents, talk to parents, teachers, and such, because I'll have to vote on it rather rapidly after that. So I don't even have that, and that's going to be one of the biggest things that's going to direct how we're funding our schools for it could be the next 10, 20 years. And I wish we would have had more time to actually look at this, analyze, and get more input on it.
Well, is there a way to slow it down a little bit?
We can slow it down. It won't come to me until it's actually on the floor, because it's got to go through the education committees.
Okay. So unless you are actually a visitor in those committee meetings or something.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that is maybe a mistake that I would have liked to have seen done differently. I really think if we would have been a lot more upfront and have more, hey, here's what it looks like. Let's all talk about it for a couple of months before we actually vote on it, because they might have a perfect plan. It could be an absolute perfect plan. But until somebody looks at it and analyzes it and everybody gets comfortable with it, I don't like voting on it immediately like it looks like we're going to have to.
Well, do any of our education leaders know what's in there? Have they been told?
So, no, I can tell you, I talked with Jeff, and Jeff Luttrell's doing a great job. Okay, I mean, he's doing a really good job, and he doesn't know. I mean, just nobody really knows yet, and the department's holding it really close to their vest of what is in the plan. And again, it could be a perfect plan. Coleman, it could be perfect. I don't know, but I don't see it, so it's hard for me to give an educated thought process on it.
Well, this kind of maybe puts you at some disadvantage as well in talking with the education leaders here if you don't know what to talk about.
That's exactly right. And so I will be, that's the biggest thing coming out next week. That is going to be, and that could be the biggest thing we're actually going to be voting on, except for the budget. So I'll be anxious to see that. We'll have that. I'm sure it'll make the news. Everybody will be able to get their input back to me if you have a thought process on what that might or change or look at, and we'll go from there.
But it's pretty safe to say there's going to be more money put in education.
Yes. Oh, yes. There will be more money, which is scary because unless we know how that money is going to be spent and what just because you put more money in something doesn't mean it's a good thing. So I want to make sure that the money we're putting in is properly given to the right people where there's an accountability and we can see what's happening with that money.
Okay, with that, we will take our break. Senator Mark Pody here, our Friday Senate report on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's now 7:16. This update brought to you by Absolute Kubota, a large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday, free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's still crazy slow right now on 40 eastbound, trying to get through Kingston Springs around the 188-mile marker. THB is doing everything they can to try to open that back up and get things flowing because there's so much traffic in that area right now. Coming in from Dixon County, Hickman County. Again, that's 40 eastbound, running slow in Kingston Springs. Donaldson Pike at Harding Place. We saw a crash at that intersection. Alabama Avenue at 51st, and maybe some minor injuries involved in that crash. 440 westbound at Murphy Road. The fire department's being dispatched to that location right now. Princess Hot Chicken now available for catering. Check out the menu, princesshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Hey, Medina, here comes the sun. Spring is just around the corner.
Call us and we can come over and tell you what your home is worth in this market, and it's free.
Yes, free and no obligation. It's time to get ready for the spring buyers. Inventory is low. We have buyers who need listings.
Here comes the sun. And remember, don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmentoller at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
It's all right. What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
It's tax time, and Cars Unlimited Tax Service is locally owned and has 33 years of experience in preparing taxes. They advance loans of up to $6,000. They're also an authorized IRS e-file provider. Call 615-449-2955 or stop by 1006 West Main Street in Lebanon. Cars Unlimited Tax Service stands ready to help you prepare your taxes. Coleman and Company here on a Friday morning, our Friday Senate report. I'll get back to Senator Pody in just a moment, but I've got something I want to share with you here from Marilyn Bryant with Center Stage. As you know, I hope you know, Center Stage has been doing productions here from time to time, and they've been actually practicing on what I'm about to tell you for quite some time, but weren't sure of having a place to do it, and Cumberland has provided the June and Bill Heindel Fine Arts Center for this, and the first performance is actually this evening. It's going to be February 18th, 19th, and 20th. That's this weekend, and then the same dates next weekend on the 25th, 26th, and 28th. The play is called And in This Corner, Cassius Clay, and it tells the story of Clay from age 12 through 18 when he won the gold medal at the 1960 Olympics, his development in boxing by a white police officer who forced them to allow him in the all-white gym, dealing with Jim Crow laws for segregation in Deep South Louisville, Kentucky. So that's what it's all about, and it will be at Cumberland's June and Bill Heindel Fine Arts Center this weekend and next weekend. Okay, back to Senator Pody and our Friday Senate report. You're telling us that really the education part of the budget and the budget itself are really the two big things here. We're waiting to see what's going to happen, sort of.
That's exactly right. Now, and speaking of education, one of the bills that we're coming up to vote on, and normally these bills go through and they hit the floor, it's not that controversial. As soon as it gets through the committees and they go to the floor, there's a lot of times that it just goes through. Republican, Democrat, we all vote the same way. But once in a while, there's kind of a touchy issue. And this week, there is a bill, and it has to do with the ACT tests and colleges. So the bill right now is sitting. It needs 17 votes to get passed in the Senate. And they literally had 17 people committed to it. So we were going to vote on it yesterday morning. However, as the sponsor was going around, his name's Brian Kelsey out of Memphis. He was going around saying, hey, you good with the vote? You good with the vote? He just wanted to make sure everybody was good. And there was one of the individuals, and they said, well, I'm not so sure if I'm going to vote for it or not. And that would mean that if they called for the vote, it could fail. Mm-hmm. And so he rolled the bill. But it was interesting. We talked about it at the board. But, I got an advisory board that I kind of meet with on a weekly basis. And I said, so is this something that we think we should do? Should the colleges, the state colleges like University of Tennessee, should they be required to consider an ATC score? And Tennessee pays for everybody in the state to take those ACT tests when they're getting out of in high school. And because we pay for it, we think that's an important thing that colleges should consider. However, over the last couple of years with the pandemic, they haven't done that. And UT has said, you know what, we don't know if we want them anymore. And we want to make decisions based on something different. So the question goes back to, if you're going to make a decision on something different, it's going to be more arbitrary rather than based on something that's fact, which would be an ACT score. And, they say, well, some students don't test well on scores, some do. But Tennessee's paying for these tests. If we're paying for the test and nobody's going to use them, why do we pay for them? So that was kind of a discussion going through in the legislature this week.
Well, what is the legislation itself?
It says that that the UT has to use those scores as a part of admission. So they can't just say, we're not going to look at the ACT scores. We're saying that, you need to at least consider those scores.
How do you feel about that?
I've got to tell you, if there's a different way that colleges are going to be admitting students, and they have a good plan, I'd be happy to look at that plan to see what they're coming up with. But if they don't have a better plan and it's more arbitrary, then it's going to be who do they like or not like and such, where, the ACT score has kind of been the standard. Parents have been planning for the ACT score. They're teaching their kids ACT score. If they're going to say, you know what, over the next 5 years, we're going to get away or move away from that, parents can plan a little bit more. But until there's a better plan that we can see, I would think that we should keep it, and I'm not opposed to moving away from it, but it is something that's recognized across the nation and literally around the world of saying, here, we're getting into higher education. Here's my ACT score.
It's amazing to me sometimes the things that come up legislative wise, and I don't have much feeling on this either way, but the ACT has been a standard testing thing. And we had a couple I read about here that had perfect scores of 36.
Yes. Yes.
Which is phenomenal. I can't think of any college or university that wouldn't want somebody that's that bright.
So, and again, I don't want to tell like the private colleges, they can do anything they want. That's up to them. But if it's state colleges and we're using all of our resources to teach this and use this until there's an alternative plan, I think that we should stay with it. Again, I'm not opposed to them coming and saying, here's the other plan we're going to use and here's why. That's fine. But until that happens and it's something concrete that parents can plan on, I think we should stick with it.
Let me, you may have some more you want to talk about it, and if you can deflect this quickly here, but I do have the sheriff here once a month. I have P.J. Hardy, the information officer for the Lebanon Police Department here, and I just wonder, is there any law, legislation affecting law enforcement that's controversial at all, or anything big you got in that area this year?
Well, we don't have anything controversial. We're building literally a huge training facility for law enforcement, and it's going to be one of the best in the nation. We're investing millions and millions of dollars into something, so they can do actually underwater rescue. They can do if it's hostage situations. There'll be much more realistic training programs for our law enforcement. And I think that's all good. One thing that's kind of unique, the governor said that we're going to have 100 new trooper positions. However, we haven't filled all the trooper positions that we have right now. And so one of the comments I made to the department was I would rather have said, let's say create another 50 new trooper positions and take that extra money and give our troopers a raise. And that we could fill the trooper positions that are empty and look at it that way. I just love our troopers, and if I can get them more money, I would do that. That didn't go through. They're going to still have those 100 positions, and they said we're going to start having more schools to maybe get more troopers in. We'll see how that works out.
Yeah, okay. What else is going on here? We got about 4 minutes left.
Okay, so I'll go quick. First, there's another bill going on, and it says this is going to actually affect the new congressional district or how the redistricting went. And we've had several people move into Tennessee to run for Congress. And if we go back a couple years ago, remember where Hillary Clinton, she lived in Arkansas and was going to run for Senate. So she didn't run for Senate in Arkansas. She moved to New York and moved immediately and said, I'm going to run for Senate in New York. Well, we've got the same thing kind of happening in Tennessee. We've got a couple of people moved into Tennessee and said, I'm here, just got here. It's time to put my name on the ballot to run for Congress. If you're going to be a state senator or a state representative, there's a residency requirement. You can't do that. You got to live here for 3 years before you can put your name on the ballot. So the question is, should we do the same thing for Congress? Should we say that you've got to be here for a couple of years before you run for a congressional office to represent Tennessee? And I've heard both sides. They say, why not just let the voters decide who they want? And the other one is, if you just got here and you've not even unpacked your car, do you really know what Tennessee is all about? Or, shouldn't you at least learn Tennessee a little bit before you pretend that you want to represent us in Washington, D.C.? So I've heard both sides of that argument.
Well, without having thought of it before, I kind of go with the second idea there. Get acclimated first.
Okay.
Know what we really are.
So that is a bill going through, and it's going to literally be affecting us here in Middle Tennessee. Yeah. And Wilson County's cut in half, and we're going to have 2 congressional, so it's going to be affecting us more, only a few counties in the state, and it's going to be affecting us. So this was one that's going to be working its way through. It's not been through any of my committees yet, but I expect it to be on the floor. And if anybody has thoughts on it, I am very interested in what those thoughts might be. One more thing I want to hit. I know we're running out of time, but Coleman, in the Department of Transportation, and we were looking at their budget, we're looking at what's happening, and our gas tax is not growing the way that they anticipated it would. So when they did the increase in gas taxes and we promised all this extra money, and they anticipated over, $500 million, 500 and some million, and none of that came. So they only got about $244 billion. So about half of what they had thought they would get. And so we're starting to put more money into the roads from our general fund, and it's not indexed to inflation or anything. And now that we've got electric cars, that's going to be coming more and more on the market, they're not buying gas. And just an example, in Tennessee, we only have like 0.5% of our vehicles are electric. But in California, over 42% of their vehicles are electric. Now, some people say it'll never happen, never come, but we see that sooner or later there's going to be a lot more electric cars here in Tennessee, and they will not be paying the gas tax. So they need to pay their fair share for the roads, and that's one of the discussions we're having right now.
How are you going to determine their fair share? a mileage thing, maybe?
It could be a mileage thing. It could be saying this. Maybe if you buy an electric car, the sales tax that Tennessee's already collecting, not a new tax, just that it's already collecting, but why not say that sales tax from that sale of electric car goes directly to the road fund? And maybe we should say the money that we're already collecting on tires. So if you buy a tire, it goes into the general fund, that sales tax. Why not put that tire fund directly into the road fund? If you're buying a tire, whether it be electric car or gas car, it needs money for the roads.
Okay, but that's going to affect everybody, and the people with electric cars are still not contributing a tax.
So we're also talking about maybe their registration fees. Maybe we could do something along that lines. Also at a charging station, and what can we do? Because there's a gas tax for gas for petroleum. Maybe they need to have something that they pay their fair share. I'm not saying that we need more. I'm not saying I want to be just everybody pay their fair share. That's all there is. That's all we're going to try and determine.
Well, that's something that does need to be thought out and worked on, but they do need to pay their fair share.
And just like the BEP, I think we need to do it slowly, come up with a plan, but we don't need to wait 10 years to make this decision. We need to be doing these thought process now and look at what we can be introducing after we've thought about it for a year, and then implement something there.
Okay, well, we have come to the end of our time here this morning. Been a good discussion today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next Friday.
Thank you, Coleman.
Senator Mark Pody, our Friday Senate Report. Stay with us for more here on Coleman and Company FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford, and they've got the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day. Up to 30 days after the sale, there'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Still running a little bit slow on 40 eastbound, trying to get through Kingston Springs. THP is clearing up that earlier crash at the 188. It just aggravated all that heavy traffic that was trying to get in from Dixon County, Hickman County. Again, 40 East, still a little bit slower than normal once you come past 840, trying to get through Kingston Springs. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Check them out at GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck, your on-time traffic.
You have a vision. We have the financing to make it happen. At Wilson Bank and Trust, we have the resources that individuals, families, and businesses need to grow and achieve their goals. As an independent local community bank, we're able to provide loans with great rates, fast decision-making, and personal service from one of our local friendly lenders. We believe in the power of possibility. It's why we say yes more often. Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
It's finally Friday, and today's forecast calls for temperatures in the mid-40s with plenty of sunshine. On Saturday, highs will climb into the mid-50s of mostly sunny skies. For Sunday, temperatures reach the low 60s. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's Look at Your Forecast. I'm meteorologist TJ Scott.
Coleman and Company, welcome to part 2 here on a Friday morning. And Friday mornings at this time, we talk about the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty. And guess who's here this morning?
Good morning.
Medina, good morning to you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Medina Hebentola, and of course, she is part of the C&T team. They're at 1330 West Main in Lebanon. Great people, great service. Somebody answers the phone 24 hours a day. They're people you can trust, and she always has this signature saying,
"Don't make a move without us."
There you go. Well, what's new today?
Well, I just wanted to talk about some properties that we've got listed. I've talked about some homes that we had listed, and we've got those under contract. And so they didn't last long, which I told you they wouldn't in this market. But we still have some lots for sale that you can either use it for hunting or develop it or sit on it or build houses on it. But it's all these lots are down toward the lake. We have a lot at 1817 Canoe Branch Road, and it's more of a farm, not a lot. It's a farm. It's 23 acres, and it's listed at $995. So if somebody wanted to come in and develop that into homes, or you could buy it and just sit on it and build your own home on it, or however you want to do it. That's available. And also we have some other smaller lots down on Misty Lake and Lakeview North, which is right there close to Canoe, right off of Canoe, Ramsey Road, and all that.
Okay, all this out there in the Hunters Point area.
That's right, yeah. Exactly. And those lots range from $79.99 to $89.99. So if you're looking to be close to the lake, they're not on the lake, but they're close to the lake. We'd be glad to tell you about it and show you those. And also the one on Canoe Branch Road, and we also have one in Cookeville. A house. We have a family lives here in Lebanon, but their parents lived in Cookeville, and they passed away, so we're selling their house in Cookeville. So not only are we in Wilson County, we're in surrounding counties, and we go a little bit further if we need to. But this house is in Cookeville, and it's $239,900, and it's 3 bedrooms and 1.5 baths. Has a big fenced-in backyard, has a shed on the outside, and it's right in the heart of Cookeville. So if you're looking, if you have a student going to Tennessee Tech that is wanting to rent a house out or to buy a house to rent out instead of staying on the dorms, or however, that might be a solution for you. So we'd be glad to tell you more about that one. But also, anytime that you're wanting to find out how much your property is worth, your home is worth, we'll be glad to come out. It's free. There's no cost to that, and we walk through the house, and like we've always said, it's not something that we look at as far as how clean your house is or how, cluttered or anything like that, but we look at the blueprint of it and the floor plan of it to see how it flows and everything. Now, we do give you suggestions if it is too cluttered or if it needs some things worked on. We do give you those suggestions as well. But we can give you an idea of what we can get it listed for and what you can get for your house.
That's what your commercial's all about. You're running. I heard.
That's right.
The two of you, you have a lot of fun even making those commercials.
Oh, yeah, we do. Yes, I listened to it on the way here. Here comes the sun. It's not out today, but it's coming. So you want to get your house on the market before the sun comes out. Because March, everybody is starting to look. The spring break starts across the country. So you want to be able to be on the market and get yours sold real quick.
Well, you have a pretty good idea. I mean, and part of that is the experience, the years of experience that you have in knowing what property is worth. Of course,
right.
It's increased in value quite a bit in the last few years, nearly everybody's. And so it may be worth more than you think, but you can find out from an expert.
Exactly. So it don't take long to do that, and so we'd be glad to come out and tell you what we think we can list it for and what you can get for it. And like I said, it's free. There's no cost to that. So give us a call on that. And while I'm talking about it, I'm part of the Kiwanis Club here in Lebanon, and we always have pancake breakfast to raise funds for the Kiwanis Club because we help children in Wilson County. Well, this year we're going to do something a little bit different. The library roast is no longer, so Kiwanis has took over that. And so this year is our first year to have the celebrity roast of the Kiwanis Club of Lebanon. Well, this year our honoree to be roasted is Dr. Paul Stump.
Right.
So we have tickets on sale for that, and it's going to be March 31st at the Capitol Theater. And the tickets are $60 a piece, or you can sponsor a table of 8 for $750. And your name is on the table, and of course it's in the program and everything. But we would love for people to come out and hear Dr. Stump. I think he's got 3 or 4 people that's going to roast him and to tell some good stuff and some funny stuff about Dr. Stump. And we all love Cumberland University.
Well,
so,
I'm just wondering which is going to be funnier, the stories that are told about him or his response to them.
I don't know. They're probably going to be equally funny. But we would love to sell the tickets to you. We're holding the tickets at our Exit Rocky Top office. So if you're interested, give us a call. You can drop by the office and get tickets, or see any Kiwanis member in Lebanon, and they'll be glad to get those. But they're going fast. But we would love to for a lot of people to come out and
you do have a limit. I mean, when they're sold.
Yes, they're sold. When they're sold, they're sold.
Right.
And so they're going fast. We want everybody to have the opportunity to get their tickets if they want to come. And so just give us a call about that, and we'll be glad to get the tickets to you. But in the meantime, before you go to Dr. Stumm's roast in the Kiwanis celebrity roast, give us a call, and we'll be glad to come out and look at your house and tell you what it's worth, or your property, your farm, or whatever. We'll be glad to tell you what it's worth.
All right. Well, thanks for being with us this morning as always. And I know people do respond to
yes.
Your what you have here, whether it's coming to find out how much their house is worth, or whether it's one of these properties that you've got for sale.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
Medina Hemmon-Toller, C&D team, Exit Rocky Top Realty. Thanks a lot, and
don't make a move without us.
We'll see you next time. We're about 21 before the hour, and today I want to welcome my guests for part 2. We've got Ed Benzinger and George Walker with us this morning to talk about the annual Wilson County Special Olympics fundraiser called the Polar Plunge. Ed, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
And how are you doing?
I'm well.
Well, you were very quiet and attentive while Medina did her thing here this morning. George, good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well.
Nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
All right. Well, let's get started here and talk about when is the Polar Plunge.
Polar Plunge is Saturday, February 26th, next Saturday.
A week from tomorrow.
And at Jimmy Floyd Family Center.
Mm-hmm. So as far as about the same time and the same place as we've had it for years, I believe.
Same place. Well, we had a virtual one, unfortunately, due to COVID.
I forgot about that.
Special Olympics goes an extra, very cautious with pandemic protocol because of their athletes and whatnot. So we did have to cancel a physical one. Even though it was done physically, they did them individually.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but this year we're back on being able to do it. And first and foremost to the city and Jimmy Floyd, to Tim and Alex at Jimmy Floyd, we appreciate them. It's just a great venue to do it, and we appreciate them.
Well, I think there's probably several ways to actually help in the fundraising. You don't have to get in a swimsuit and expose yourself to the elements,
Mm-hmm.
although there are a few of y'all who relish in doing that, apparently.
You are absolutely correct. It is a fundraiser for us because we're sending a delegation to U.S. Games this year in 22. God willing, if they don't change that, but it does appear we will be. So yes, you can go online and be a donor or a sponsor or just a supporter of it.
Well, I say that every time I think of the Polar Plunge, honestly, just about every time I think of Mayor Fox years ago, I think he did this every year, got out there and got wet and got cold. And he told me that even as soon as he gets through, he's got it done this time, he's dreading next year. He's got a whole year to dread.
Well,
but
Mayor Hutto has taken up his slack. He fell in because Randall is already registered again this year.
Yeah.
He is very much appreciated.
Well, it's probably not for everybody, but if you dare to do it, you can do that and have a lot of fun with a lot of other people.
We're still holding out for you, Coleman.
Well, you're going to have to wait. George, we hadn't let you say anything hardly this morning. What all are you doing for this?
Well, I'm the area director for 27, so I kind of overlook this. I think Ed here, he's the fundraising coordinator for Area 27, so he's the one that kind of does all the running for this and calling the state of Tennessee so they can do their part, and they actually put it on a website, polarplungetn.com, for us. That's where an individual can go to register to Plunge, or if they just want to donate. So, but I appreciate Ed a lot. Ed helps us out a lot on this kind of stuff.
Well, I take it that even if you're not going to plunge yourself, you can come and be a spectator.
By all means.
Oh, yes.
And rightfully so. specifically we're plugging the Plunge today, but we want to plug the Area 27 Special Olympics organization. As you all know, if you hadn't been watching TV, the Winter Olympics are on, and the Special Olympics is for special needs adults, children, all ages in Wilson and Trousdale County, Area 27.
Okay.
So we want to promote the organization. It is an athletic competition for these people with special needs.
But it does take some money to put that on, and I take it that at least part or maybe all of this that's raised from the Polar Plunge goes for
It's
such.
very much one of our bigger fundraisers, yes, even though it's slack sometimes, but
how long have you been involved with the Special Olympics and the Polar Plunge, George?
Well, with Special Olympics in general, I've been involved since 1993 between the Area 9, which is Cookeville, that Upper Cumberland area, and then Wilson County. I'm a professor at Cumberland, so I kind of, when the mantle was dropped for the directorship, I took it up, and it's a Special Olympics is just a place in my heart. That's something that I deal with as far as teaching at the universities, working with special needs individual in the physical nature, and I personally want to encourage, if there's any parents out there that has individuals with special needs, we have all kinds of athletic events from track and field to bocce ball to basketball. I would encourage them to contact us and get their children, or if it's an adult. I have seen individuals all the way up to up in their 90s being involved in Special Olympics.
Oh, okay. All right. With that, we need to take our break right here. Ed Benziger and George Walker are my guests, and we're talking about the Polar Plunge and Special Olympics this morning here on Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. It's now 7:46, and this update brought to you by Absolute Kubota. They have a large inventory of new and used Kubota mowers, RTVs, tractors, hay equipment, and more. Come in Saturday. Free popcorn. Check out the new Kubota products. 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. They were working a wreck a few minutes ago on 24 eastbound near 440. Traffic's heavy, of course, in the westbound lanes. As you make your way 24 up by Briley, heavy traffic 24 through the Jolton area. No surprise there. It's still running a little bit slow sometimes on 40 east at the 188 coming through Kingston Springs from that earlier wreck, but it is in its clearing stages. Warmer weather is waiting for you right now at Pensacola Beach. Just book your next getaway at PensacolaBeach.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Are you thinking about buying a new home? Let A.G. & Johnson assist you with your new home search. From the first-time home buyer to the empty nester, we are experienced in all facets of the home buying process. We will be with you every step of the way. No matter if you are buying, selling, downsizing, or upsizing, we can assist you with your real estate needs. Call us at 615-444-0909 or find us online at agandjohnson.com or Facebook A.G. & Johnson Realty. A.G. & Johnson is your community's trusted realty and auction company.
The Cumberland Phoenix baseball team finishes up a 5-game homestand with a 3-game series this weekend versus Clark University of Iowa. Doubleheader starts at 12 noon on Saturday, followed by a single game 1 o'clock on Sunday, all at Woody Hunt Stadium on campus. You can hear all the action on WANT FM 98.9, WCOR AM 1490, WANTFM.com, or watch live video on GoCumberlandAthletics.com. Don't miss any of the action. Go Phoenix.
Caring for a loved one is as natural as the weather, but just like the weather, one moment it's sunny and the next you find yourself in the middle of a storm. So when it came time to take care of my dad, I knew I needed help, a reprieve from the storm, so to speak. That's when I found the Pavilion Senior Living. They have expertise and experience to weather the storms in your loved one's life. And now I can rest easy. Thank you, Pavilion Senior Living. You should visit thepavilionseniorliving.com to find out more.
Yes. And we continue our final segment here for a Friday morning. And before we get back to the Polar Plunge, I just want to announce one more time, Marilyn Bryant and the folks with Center Stage Theater are going to be performing at Cumberland University for Black History Month, and it starts this evening and will be tomorrow evening, Sunday afternoon, as well as next weekend, same dates. At the June and Bill Hyde Fine Arts Center, it's a play called And in This Corner, Cassius Clay, which tells the story of Cassius Clay from age 12 through 18. And it's something I'm sure many people would like to see, and Center Stage does a good job, and we'll be talking more about that with them Monday. But just to let you know, it's this weekend and next weekend at the Hyde Fine Arts Center at Cumberland. All right, again with me this morning, Ed Benziger and George Walker. We're talking the annual fundraiser for Special Olympics here in Wilson County, the Polar Plunge, coming up a week from tomorrow. Now, this will be at the Jimmy Floyd Center. Everybody knows where the Jimmy Floyd Center is, I guess, over there in the swimming pool. I hope you don't have to break the ice. Hey, you've never had to do that, have you?
We had ice one year, but didn't have to break it.
Have you looked at
water?
You looked at forecast for next Saturday?
46 is what they're giving. So I think it's been running about 38 degrees every year.
Well, that'd be a piece of cake.
We did bump up the time out to 10 o'clock registration and 11 o'clock plunge. That way, it possibly could go either way, I guess. But usually it would be a little warmer.
Yeah. Well, George, do you do the plunge?
I don't do the plunge. I just watch. I've never done it. Every now and then I almost want to tell myself I need to do it just to make an example, but I haven't done it.
Ed, I'm going to ask you too.
No, sir. I just got back from Arizona, so I'd go swimming out there. It was 80 degrees.
Neither one of you are doing it, but you're wanting me to do it.
We're the worker bees.
Okay. Well, I'm being a little facetious, I guess, this morning, but some people really enjoy this, no doubt.
I have been very much tempted to do it, but again.
But, okay, what is there, this is a fundraiser. What's it cost to be a part of the plunge?
Well, what they promote, what Special Olympics promotes is that the entry fee is $50, but they don't want the actual plunger to think that they have to come up with that $50.
Okay.
If they do, that's fine, but what the actual registration is $10, and they encourage you to get your friends or other benefactors involved in this to defray their costs.
Right.
So typically we had sponsors that were doing $200, but they weren't even plunging, or they did as a team. But the actual cost is $50.
Well, how's it looking so far this year?
We've
have
got
some
10 registered right now, and we look for the walk-ins that hear us today, and it'll be in the papers and whatnot. So,
what about businesses? They're supportive too, aren't they?
We have had several businesses create teams, and we've had that in the past, but don't have any this year. Our only team this year is actually Special Olympics athletes and a coach, Special Olympics coach. So,
was it too late for a business to have a team?
We'll take walk-ins the day of. So.
Okay.
And I would like to say that if businesses would like to go to polarplungetn.com, they don't have to plunge, but they can donate, and then we will be sponsoring them as far as getting their information out as far as who donated to Area 27 Special Olympics.
Okay, I think we need to point out again the money that's raised from this goes for Special Olympics. And I suppose it stays, if not here in the county, at least in the district.
100% of the money that we raise for Special Olympics, a lot of people, there's always these other types of places that advertise to give money to profit organizations, but for Area 27 Special Olympics, 100% of the money goes toward the athletes themselves. Like Ed said earlier, our biggest goal this year, we have several athletes going to Orlando to participate in the USA Games. And the money that we're trying to raise this year is going to sponsor those folks.
I guess we're always wondering a little bit if you have a goal or what if you have a successful how much money would you hope to raise to say you had a very successful polar plunge?
We left our goal this year at $5,000.
$5,000.
Same as last year.
Okay.
Of course, it got canceled.
Yeah. Well, $5,000 is in one way is a good amount of money, but that's not all that much to ask for, really. And
That's right.
$5,000 will get you a long way toward what you need to do, I guess.
Absolutely. And the again, we have the monies that we spend for Special Olympics are to go to state events, to go to regional events such as basketball, swimming, bocce ball. That's to send those athletes to those events, to buy uniforms, to take care of travel, take care of food that they may need when they travel. So that's what we raise the money for.
Who all, you're talking about a number of things for somebody to do here to enable these Special Olympic athletes to do all this. Who does that?
We have 5 people on the board that take care of all the management things that go on with Area 27. So
are you two?
We are 2 of the members, and then we also have some other members that are on the management team that we decide what goes on in Area 27, what we should do and what we shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
The state has a very important role in all of this too.
Well, maybe approximately how many Special Olympics or special needs people are we talking about here that might participate?
Well, it depends. If we have events that go along with the schools, we have bowling. Typically, it's in October, and the special needs individuals from schools come, and then we also have community individuals with special needs that come. Same as basketball and bocce ball. And then usually about in April, we'll have track and field. Typically, that's been cut off, obviously, because of the pandemic. The state of Tennessee, like Ed was saying earlier, is very particular about what they have and what they don't have dealing with this right now. And but usually in April, we'll have our spring games that we call it, and students from the Wilson County schools, Trousdale County schools, Lebanon Special School District will come and participate.
Well, altogether, how many maybe are affected in some way by the Special Olympics? Got a round figure you could offer us here?
Athletes, I think they're in our files, there's probably 50 to 60, but not all of them are active. They come and go. I guess probably our most active right now is flag football, which is being asked to represent Area 27 at the U.S. Games in Orlando this year. But then also bocce, we held a regional tournament at our bocce courts here in Lebanon this year. The regional swim meet, which utilizes Jimmy Floyd, unfortunately has been delayed because of pandemic, but it's usually held in January. So,
well, you really you have a lot to offer here, and no doubt it's got to really mean something to those in that category of special needs.
Well, it really. Not necessarily the adults that are the coaches or that are over the board. What it means the most is to the athletes themselves, that they get to participate, but they also get to see their friends that they typically may not get to see on a regular basis because they are out in the community working and just living regular lives just like you and I.
Well, this is probably something that if we don't have somebody of special needs, not close to a special needs family or something, that is something maybe we don't think a lot about. But they need they need this. They need to be able to participate, to have their friends, to associate, as you were just talking about. And in order to do that, somebody's got to care for them and be providers. I think that's where you all come in.
Well, we now have a unified sports program too, which intermingles regular athletes with special needs athletes. So it's the best of both worlds here.
Well, it sounds like y'all have got, even if it's just 5 mainly off you that we're talking about here, that you've got a lot on your plate, but doing a good job.
Well, we have 5 in the management team, but I would also like to throw out the coaches that we have that run the sports, along with the teachers out in the school systems that deal with the individuals with special needs. They're overlooked a lot of times, but they're the ones that train the school-aged individuals when they come to our events.
And you're kind of in that category at Cumberland too, right?
Well, I have to say my students help a lot out when it comes to the events that we have.
All right. Well, again, the annual fundraiser, Wilson County Special Olympics Polar Plunge, is next Saturday at the Jimmy Floyd Center. And you said registration, I believe, at 10 and the plunge at 11.
Correct.
And all this money that you're going to raise, hopefully $5,000 or more, is going to go with what we've talked about this morning.
Correct.
So thank you all for being with us. We've had Ed Bensiger and George Walker. And that's it for Friday. I hope you'll have a nice weekend. And until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.